as you say, it's only a fortnight or so since you were last over the Channel playing in France. You do it again this week. Is there anything you can learn from prep experience of playing in those conditions that you can sort of put into prep for this week's game in Perpignan?
It's a much different trip this time. Last time we had 12 or 13 hours of transit on Friday prior to a Saturday night game, and then an 8-hour transit home before a Thursday night game. This one we're in and out on the day, so to me it's a new experience in this country. I'm familiar with it back in Australia. In Queensland Cup and even in the NRL, you travel, fly the day of the game and get your business done and get home. So I'm not sure. The process that we went through to prepare for the heat has been ongoing, so we're doing our best to have the boys feeling uncomfortable and sweaty on occasions in the build-up, so we can do our best.
So you've made a conscious effort then to obviously get them, I don't know if battle hardened's the right word, but get them acclimatised for what's going to be a heck of a lot warmer in France than it is here.
Yeah, with the facilities we have available and the weather conditions that we have available here, we've done our best to equip, gone out of our way to make them feel uncomfortable and hot.
In terms of the opposition, I mean, we know pretty much where their strengths lie. They're a very big side, they're a very physical, imposing side. Just how big a challenge is it this weekend going over there?
Yeah, as you said, they're a high-performing team. We expect a big game, and we're going to go there and do our best and throw what we've got and see how it looks at full time.
I know you're very much about you guys rather than the perception of outside the club, but what sort of statement would it send, given the form you're in, the time of the season we're approaching, to go there and beat one of the top four in their own backyard this weekend?
It'd be a good result, and it'll get us 2 points. But that's going to be hard fought. They're a seasoned veteran team that know how to win on their own patch, and they've got some class and leadership there in the real key positions. So they're going to steer their team around well, and it's going to be a tough opportunity for us.
Just finally from me, I know you're very much not looking at the league table. That's the message. But are you tempted yet? Are you tempted to have a steer at things and try and work out maybe what you might need to get into that 6 come the end of the season?
I want to win every week we go into. I want to win. I think every player is like that. I don't see how it serves me. Every game is the important one. Next week is not important until this week is out of the way. So it doesn't serve me to look at the ladder and look at who plays who and all that business. We play Catalans this weekend, and that's our opportunity to stake our claim this weekend, and it's going to be very tough.
Brilliant. I'll let someone else ask a few. Thanks, Rohan. Good luck.
Cheers, Aaron.
Hi, Rohan.
Hey, Pete. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, well.
Good. Is the challenge this week to prove that you can back up a performance like last Thursday's? Consistency, in other words.
It's one game at a time. Last week doesn't help us to win this week, and just like next week won't help us to win this week. It's a matter of every week striving for good preparation and good performance. And I would look back over the period of time, even some of the defeats that we've had. The process has been decent, not always great, but at a reasonable level. So I'd argue that there is some consistency there if you're trying to chunk games together, that we have done okay there.
Did you learn anything about your players from last week's win, anything you didn't already know about them?
I've got a lot of belief in the roster. I knew quite a bit about most of the players before I got here, and I've only gone about learning more and trying to understand how everyone can work together. I know there's a lot of belief. I have a lot of belief. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of football awareness and talents there in general. So you never go into games thinking about the scoreline. You think about the process, and I'm not surprised that we played well against a good team. That's we have that ability in our group. So I'm not sure about the learning part. You're always learning about, the little, some real minor things, but on a bigger picture, I think we went about and played how we intended to, and it fell our way on the day.
Are you still, to use that word again, learning about Super League? I think you'll have played against everybody apart from Catalan and I think it's Hull KR. So I think 9 games in now. Are you sort of still coming to grips with the competition itself, or do you feel like you've got a handle on it now?
Oh, I'll always be learning. Some of the players, in other competitions that I've worked in, I've been in a competition for 6 or 8 years, and you've watched players play every week for 6 years is different to watching players play for 8 weeks or whatever. So I'll always be learning, and I'll never think that I've got it totally covered. I feel like I've got a decent picture on the competition and each team individually, but by no means do I consider myself knowing it all or anything like that. I'm always striving to know more about our opposition, but more importantly, know more about what we can do as a group.
Since we spoke to you last, James McDonald signing's been announced. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you know about him and how that came about?
Yeah, I was actually watching, many games on video in those early weeks that I was here, and I was actually watching a couple other players in the game, and I saw James do a few things. He's got some good leg speed, and he enjoys collision, and a few of those things stood out. So I did a bit more investigating and studied his game a little bit more. Met him in person. Terrific young man. Got some real ambition, and I think he's got a long future at the Rhinos ahead of him.
Yeah. The 2 players that you've signed so far, or that we know about, are both sort of young, up-and-coming players. Is that the sort of target you're looking for at this stage?
I think it's the right mix also for our group. We've got a lot of experienced players at the sort of back end, not that they're close to retirement, but they're 30 plus and a lot of games under their belt, that we need some people in the middle there, and even at the lower end. Some of the young players in our squad are 17 and 18, which is extremely young to be expecting them to play every week in Super League. So I feel like that age group around 22, 24, even a little older than that is somewhere where there's a bit of a gap in our roster. So that has been part of the process.
Could there be, I know people keep asking about recruitment, but could there be some more experienced players coming in, or what's the sort of the policy going to be for any other additions, if there are any?
The policy is to improve our roster as best we can, whilst adhering to salary cap, restrictions and previous sort of investments. So there will be, a few more people coming in at some stage, and then, it's always it's a moving thing. The roster, it's never a fixed. Next year's roster is always a moving target. Just
finally from me, you mentioned last week that Brad Dwyer hadn't been offered a contract. Can you say what the situation is with other players that are coming off contract? Mus Mustafa is one. I think there's maybe a couple of others.
Yeah, we haven't made Muzzy an offer. He's obviously free to explore his own options there. As I said, it's always a moving thing, the roster. So at this point, we haven't made Muzzy an offer.
Could he still be secure an offer if he keeps playing and impressing?
The roster is always a moving article. I'm not going to speculate about people here until there's something to offer you that's a bit more concrete.